By most standard, it appears that the American public educational system is worse than the public educational system in other countries. And the questioner asks, why is that so? Why is America's public educational system worse than other countries? And I think the answer, and I'm not an expert on education, but I think the answer is the fact that the progressive movement in education had far greater impact on education in America than it did in places like Europe and places like Asia and other countries, where they are much more traditionalists, classical oriented in their educational system. So the progressive nature of education, John Dewey, the idea of education as there to socialize, the idea of education as much more of a kind of communal process where we ask the students what they think and their views, and we break down walls and we break down the relationship between teacher and student. That was intellectually brought forward by Dewey and many of the progressives during the late part of the 19th century, early part of the 20th century. And for whatever reason, and I don't have an explanation for this, it caught on within American education and had, I think, a profound impact on the way American students are being taught, the way they're taught reading, the moving away from phonics towards the whole language program, which I think happened much more intensely in the United States than anywhere else around the world. Moving towards new math, moving away from memorization or any kind of repetition. The progressive movement really had this disastrous impact on breaking apart kind of the more traditional classical education. Now, I don't think necessarily the traditional classical education is the ideal form of education. And here I would refer you to Dr. Peikoff's course on the philosophy of education, where he articulates an objective approach to education. But I think that it is superior the classical education, the traditional educational system, to this progressive, break everything apart, almost nihilistic view of education. And that's what we're seeing. Europe, with its more tradition, with the traditional way, students are better at math and better at things that we can measure than our American students. Both systems, though, are way behind what a real competitive, private market in education, I believe, would produce, or what an objective approach to education would generate. So in spite of the fact that America is worse off in terms of its educational programs than Europe, Europe is way behind where an educational system would be if it was based on objective principles, or if it was a consequence of those objective principles in a competitive market where the better product rose up to the top. So there's no good educational product in any of these systems around the world, even though some are better than others.